Okay, today we're going to learn what the Caf Hachaim has to teach us about the halachas that we are learning. Caf Hachaim has a lot of length on discussing this concept of really Kabbalistic ideas behind what we're learning. Just a few interesting points that Caf Hachaim makes. Over here in Oz Beis is a tremendous amount of arichos describing how we should have 12 pieces of bread on the table at each Suda, 12 chalos each Suda, which corresponds to the Yud Beis chalos lechem haponim. By the lechem haponim, the Beis Hamikdash, there were 12 breads. So therefore, based on that, yeah, maybe I know. Yeah. Train's leaving. So based on that, he says we have 12 chalas. So over here he has tremendous arichos, the way to set them up. And if you're more interested, you take a look at the Caf Hachaim Oz Beis. I mean, just look at the length on this, describing the process of having 12 chalas, and then the next Oz, he goes weiter on this Indian. So very interesting, Caf Hachaim. In Oz Hey, he discusses something that we learned about as well, having the two hadassim. One's Keneged Zachor, one's Keneged Shamor, corresponds to the positive mitzvahs of Shabbos and the negative mitzvahs of Shabbos. And then he brings this Gemara in Shabbos in short on Lama Gimel, where Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Rashbi, and his son Rabbi Eliezer, when they finally came out of the cave after all those years, they saw someone who was holding this, and they said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "One Keneged Zachor, one Keneged Shamor." He said, "Oh, look how careful Klal Yisrael, Kama Yisrael, the Hidim mitzvahs. Look how careful they are with the mitzvahs." So that's another interesting point over there, and that's what he says. Now in Ozvav, he says, once you come into your house, Tomer b'kol ram, saying a loud voice, ubesimcha yisayir, with a tremendous amount of happiness. Shabbat shalom, you say good Shabbos. You come in your house, you say good Shabbos. You're all happy. This is akin to a chosan who is greeting his kala for the first time when they're married with the tremendous simcha. If your mother's still alive, kiss her hands. This is as far as they do a lot of kissing on the hands. This is where it comes from. To stakel look at the Ner Shabbos and have in mind that one corresponds to the positive mitzvah Shabbos Zachar, and one is the passive mitzvah, the negatives.
You have more than 2 Neros?
Okay, so more than 2 Neros is a minug. Sfardim don't do it. The minug, they say based on the amount of kids. Pashtus, when we learn some in Reish Samach Gimel, we're going to learn about that more. But the Iker is 2. Everything after, it's nice, but the Iker is 2. It's also a Shaila we're going to learn when we learn in Hashem, some in Reish Samach Gimel, that if a woman forgets to, so then she gets a knas. So the Shaila is, let's say she remembered to light 2, but not the other ones. Not the pasha that she would get knast at all. So 2 is the Iker. All right, we'll learn about that more. Mitzvah Hashem. And then he goes into, you say the Skinu Sudasa. I mean, he has a whole process of now what you do, L'Shem Yichud. I mean, he's going into different inyanim over here. He talks about a lot of interesting things. I just skimmed through this just last night about kissing the rabbi and different things. Does he say that later on, or does he say that over here? I think he must have already said it. He talks about you kiss the rabbi's hands because the rabbi writes his Chedushay Torah and they're very kadosh, and goes through a whole cheshbon over here. L'maisa, we know what we do, and that's the story over there. Okay, so those are some interesting comments that he says. In Os, what is this? Tezvav rather. He says that instead of Seischa Mashalom in Hageinu Loimer Acher Bar Chuni L'Shalom B'Shivtecha L'Shalom and B'Shiftechem L'Shalom, because that's the whole Seischa Mashalom Shaila. There are some Svardim who have this minug, so interesting to point that out. The Yabet says Min Hogun Shel Yisrael Levarcha Yodim Bilo Shabbos Acher Avos. To give brachos to the children on Shabbos night. We already discussed this briefly in the past. There are those who don't have this minhag every Erev Shabbos, and there is certainly what to rely on. Remember once a certain person very fiery about doing this bracha, blah blah blah. You know, there are definitely reasons not to do it every Erev Shabbos as well. So maybe we'll learn about that more. But this he brings this minhag. Whoever has this minhag, it's legitimate. You could stick with it, and or maybe this is where he talks about kissing the rabbi's hands. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. Oh, here. והגם דנשיקס יד של גדול בתור פשיטה ועדי יסבוס לתועלת גודל לפי הקדוש רבה שיש in the מלכי רבנם אחד שבכל יום. There it is. Here it is. Here's an hashkafa for Svardim who kissed the rabbi's hands, because there's a tremendous amount of kedusha from those hands. They write the Chedushay Torah with the right and the left hand. Sometimes the left hand helps the right, even if they're righty. Oh, cheshbon, and therefore that's the cheshbon that he goes into. So sometimes you see that there's a shaila, you're not supposed to kiss your children in a shul. So halach in Hilchos Shmona Esrei, it's brought down. We learned about it around 9 years ago, and the reason is because you're supposed to recognize it's just Hashem in the shul. But maybe this is different because they're an extension of the Torah of the rabbi, so it's not like more of an emotional connection that's not related to Torah at all.
The difference
So,
between kissing the hand and kissing in general.
I think it's the idea of kissing your children, which is not necessarily a primary Torah connection. It's more of an emotional. You have an emotional longing for your children, a love for them. Os yotes v'kol ma she'oise yomer lekavod Shabbos u'lakaye mitzvos v'hayo b'yoyim hashishi v'hechinu as asher yaviu. Everything that we do, we should verbally say that we're doing this lekavod Shabbos, and we're fulfilling the mitzvah of preparing on the 6th day. Right, that's by the man. So therefore, what? So therefore, this is the inyan over here. We're going to learn about this more in Reishanon. Chaf Alf. Yesh mi she'oimer she'sorach she'habal habayis yesadr es hashulchan mishum hachana de mitzvah bo. Omnom b'tikune tikun chav dalid mashma de sorach she'isha tesader v'yesh tam besor. Who sets the Shabbos table? From a halachic perspective, who should set it? So I bet your average Sephardi would say, "What do you mean, the woman? What's the shaila?" He says, "No. Some say that the husband should set the table. Why? Hachana de mitzvah bo. Mitzvah bo yoismin b'shlucha. Better to do the mitzvah yourself. That's the chesed lofim. However, in the tikkunim, it's implied that the woman should set it for kabbalistic reasons. So in other words, whatever you do, yesh loy amilas moch. You have who to rely upon. Some say the woman should set it. Some say the man should set it. Do whatever you want at the end of the day. There's reasons for both." Chavbeis ein sarich lekasis rosh hashulchan shoichel of the tamu kadesh tishra sham habracha v'habracha einu shori el b'makom shoichel mavarach. So around 4 sessions ago, we saw this quoted and we looked this up. Here it is. Now we're doing it. Some say that you only need to cover the table that you're eating on with the tablecloth, and the reason is so that the bracha should dwell there, and the bracha will only dwell in a place where you are eating. What he says? Can make that up? What he says? That would be a reason to only cover the Shabbos table that you're eating on. Yeah.
And it talks about any affection too. We're speaking about kissing, but as far as hugging and any types of affection.
Honestly, I think it's mutter to hug your kid in a shul. I think only kissing was the issue, if I am not mistaken.
Mhm.
What? I'm pretty sure it's only kissing, because a kiss is stronger than a hug.
Depends on the. I mean, if you went to a French shul or whatever, I think French people kiss. That's like they shake their hands.
Yeah, French kiss, Avada.
But I'm saying it's culturally. So as far as like.
Yeah, they do that more. Hugging is fine. It doesn't matter if you're in France. It doesn't matter if you're in the Big Apple. The kissing is the problem. The hugging is fine.
Also, what I'm saying, there are cultures that just greet each other by kissing, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, in our culture also, sometimes, even men, you know, at a nice simcha, you know, you give a little kiss on the cheek, whatever, you know, there's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen that. But oh, chat, what's this?
Din
Who's
online.
this? Dinonline.org. Wait, received the message 9:29. That's right now.
Shaya.
Oh, Shaya. Hugging in shul. Oh, here it is. That guy's quick. Shulchan Aruch
Shaya,
says, one shouldn't kiss a child of this. Oh, he Googles. This guy's a Googler. He's a Googler, this guy, let me tell you. Answer, am I right? Yeah, I knew it was somewhere. Sadi Ches. By the way, see the recordings over there by blond.com. You get all the details. Based on Minyamin Zev, who quotes from the Agudah that a person should not kiss his children in shul. The reason is that you should instill in one's heart that there is no love like the love of Hashem. Therefore, the practice mentions specifically to children, to whom one feels unique love and affection. Yet the custom is not to kiss at all in shul, both for the reason above and also because of Mori Shechina, mentioned by, okay. Note, however, that both can make a distinction between a kiss of love and a kiss of respect. Oh, Baruch Shekevanti, such as kissing a rabbi or father's hand, which is a prominent custom among Svardim. Oh, Benish Hai. Here we go. Yahavadas, Hafa Hayim, as poskim write. In our day, it is customary to refrain from all kisses in shul, even those of respect. Hug is not generally discussed by authorities, yet it stands reason based on the rationale mentioned by poskim. If a hug is meant as a show of love and affection, and not only respect, one should refrain from in shul, leaving the shul before expressing one. Wow. So it could be an idea not to hug also.
Hey, who's he bringing this down from?
He's bringing this, who is this? OU? Din online?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Whose din is this?
Whose din is this?
Whose din is this? Whose din is this? It's a chumrah. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
He's bringing a chumrah over here. Din online. Copyright din.org.il. Who's the paisik? Who's the paisik over here?
He's hiding in anonymity.
Okay. Look, there's who's the rabbi here?
Did you say up there? No?
Who we are? Who we are?
Who we are? Kailul Chayshin Mishpat. Who is this? Is the head of institution? Ben Adam. Oh wow! The founder's goal was to raise the public's awareness of the mitzvahs Ben Adam Lachavero, the lachas pertaining to dini and mamonos, financial. The head of the institute, Rabbi Yosef Fleischman. I pronounce that right? Fleischman Schlicht,
Yep.
Rabbi Usher Flegg, 2 G's. Colon numbers around 120. Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's an opinion?
Yeah. Look, there's what to look into. There's definitely what to cheshbon over here. It could be better not to hug. Yeah. But me'ikar hadin, the kiss would certainly.
I mean, but I
Yeah.
basically what he's saying, he says it could be, but it sounds like what Dava was saying, if it's respect, that's first of all different, and secondly, it seems like it's limited to kissing from the Svarim. That's what it seems like.
Right.
It looks like it's limited to your children.
Right.
It seems like it was like very up in the air regarding hugging. That seemed to be questionable.
Yeah. All right. When we learn Sadi Ches, that's when we'll come back to that Indian.
Go back to Chelik Aleph eventually.
Oh yeah. I want to go Chelak Aleph. That's my expertise. Look at my Chelak Aleph. There's no room on the glass on the sides of the Gemara. You know where it's empty of the page. There's no room. Everything is notes.
Yeah.
No, that's Chelak Gimel, but every
No,
single
but it's
page.
like that.
Yeah, it's like that. The whole back. The nose. It's. And now if we do it again, I would have so much more. Also, I got more Sfarim now, and it's Aleph is very good. The only parts of the Aleph that I don't like so much.
Basic key say stuff.
No, the basic Kisa is fire. That's excellent. What I don't like is the Saffras.
Oh,
The Saffras is good, but there aren't so many Chidushim. Someone told me who's maybe thinking of becoming a sofer, he said that for his training, they don't even use the Mishnah Brura to learn Saffras because it's too detailed. Yeah, they just do like, you know, they don't need a whole, he says, that person said, they don't need all the details. They just need the basics to write, and it's too detailed. So it's even more detailed for a cipher,
They just
which
want
is
to
very which is very interesting that he said, but we learned that, it's all in the recordings. You learn a simon like Lamed Beis, Chak Toichos. Like who even knows what that is? Tafres is very gishmak though. It makes you appreciate what you're wearing more, as opposed to just, you know, we're not just putting on a box with the piece of paper inside of instructions over here. It's much more than that. And it's and you'll see why tefillin costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. the process that goes into making it,
Time,
and
yeah,
the
mhm.
details, not just the time, the materials, the expertise, the machinery that you need, or the handiwork, the right craftsmanship. I mean, it's a tremendous, very fascinating stuff. Anyways, but and then Sitzis was all right. But the Shema and the Shemona Esrei, excellent. Psukkah de Zimra, all of that. Kaddish, I mean, it's packed with the halachas, jam-packed. All right. Anyways, okay, so yeah. What about changing shoes? We already touched upon this. Os Chafei. V'im lahaf of ganasad no ayin rab po'alim. Shekos of dein sarach lahaf. According to the Rab Po'alim, you do not need to change into special Shabbos shoes. V'im marim Yerushalmi he brings a proof from the Yerushalmi. If you go back to what we did yesterday and you look at the footnote in the Meiser of this Yerushalmi was quoted, but we didn't speak it out over them, and now we will. Yerushalmi says, the lav orche the bar nash limehavi train sandal in chad lechoilo v'chad l'shab. So it's not the norm for people to have two sets of shoes, one for Shabbos, one for the weekday. Nowadays, the nashim sidkanios halavai, they shouldn't have 24 sets of shoes.
We have
Crazy.
running shoes,
Yeah,
walking
I mean,
shoes,
we're so
dress shoes.
spoiled
We are
nowadays.
spoiled. We are.
It's incredible,
Just
and
order
people
on
don't even.
Amazon.
People don't even realize that the what the luxuries that we have. They think that it's necessities, right? Minion Lincoln, you don't need to spend a ton of money on shoes. I got this shoe. You know how much money this shoe costs? It's a great shoe. Look at that.
What type of shoe is it?
What type? What brand? I don't know. The thing works. What is it? Made in China? I don't know what brand.
It's comfortable.
Ferragamo.
Yeah, very comfortable.
Ferragamo.
That's the fancy brand, right? There you go. I don't know what brand it is, but this thing
I
works.
think so. Yeah.
Comfortable gets the
Very
job
good.
done. You know how much this shoe is?
$40.
$25 plus tax, maybe 26. I mean, you don't need to spend triple digits for a nice shoe.
Oh, that's-
You know, you just gotta know where to go, and then that's it. That's it. Yeah, but I mean, I don't get shoes on Amazon. I'm old fashioned. I like trying them on and not returning it 8 times. Call me crazy, but that's what I do. Miunira, Hainu Lafum Dina. This is Iker Hadin. The general halacha, you don't need a new Shabbos shoe. However, someone like David, Aval Midas Chasidus.
Mhm.
But the Midas Chasidus, Borobark, Nocho and Lahachlef. Then it's correct to change it. Midas Chasidus, we're not talking about the Chasidim in Borobark. We're talking about it's a way of pious people. You should preferably change your shoe. V'chein kos
Well,
v'chesed
sure.
halacha mois gimel afilu mechnasai munal v'akol v'shochoy chebo v'kedol ma'akol kasher l'kol yiyeh miyuchadol l'Shabbos yim efshar. Doesn't just apply to shoes. It applies to your pants, your hat that you sleep in, right? Your pajamas, everything. It's a nice idea to have brand new. What were you saying?
I was like, I know actually, I got these. I know. You know what's interesting about shoes is that it's nice to have shoes on Shabbos if you can, if they have enough support to have shoes that don't you don't have to tie. You know, you have the slip-ons or whatever, the loafers, the
There's big hack in the yeshivas.
staff.
They joke about that. One of the questions they ask by shidduchim is he a guy who has laces on his shoe or he doesn't have laces?
Failed.
Which one's better? So there's hack each way. You say on the one hand, if you don't have laces, it's less bittul Torah to tie the laces, and you could learn more.
Yep.
Right? But on the other hand, you say, wait a minute. Maybe if it's laces, he wants that extra mitzvah of tying it in the right order, tying the left shoe first and then the right shoe. Right? At least variety.
I think on Shabbos I have sketches nowadays because they're so come by special Shabbos shoes and the sketchers, you know, that are
They do?
they're black on black. But
Anyway, there's a whole, it's said over better than how I'm saying it. There's a whole yeshiva shahak over here.
I have nothing.
But the point is that what? Is that, you can wear laces on Shabbos, but you can't double knot it. You can't double knot it. So there's apparently, someone told me a chiddush. If you do a double bow tie, it stays on better than one. I don't do that. My minhag is I just do one tie, and that's not considered a double knot, a double bow tie.
You don't like double knot. A bow is not a knot.
No, right, exactly. So you could make a double bow to get out of the problem. But when we learn Hilchos Kshira, we'll learn about that.
But no one knots their shoes. You don't put a knot in your shoes, then you can't get it out.
No. Again, you put one knot, and then
What bow?
oh no, I think I said it wrong. If you do two bows, so that's double knot, right? That's a problem. If you do double knot. But
How
I
is
think
that?
if you just don't do a knot and two bows, maybe that was a little different or something.
If you do two,
I don't know. When we learn Hilchos Kshira, we'll learn about it. I do one. That's what I do. I just do one.
Is it brought down anywhere about having laces versus no laces in halacha?
I mean, it's in Simon Bays when it discussed putting on shoes, right? Said over
On
there, if
Shabbos,
you don't have
on
laces, you just put on your right foot and then your left. There's nothing to tie.
Yeah.
On Shabbos, I don't know. We didn't say anything yet. We'll have to keep our eyes and ears open. I don't
Can't
think
be slip-ons.
also buckles. Buckles is the same din. Straps, right? Yeah. Okay,
But,
so this is so after learning these halachas, look, es chatayani maskir hayom, so to say, I don't have a separate undergarments for Shabbos, or separate clothing that I sleep in, or a separate yarmulke. Maybe I'll start. I do have a separate hat, separate towels. Why not have a separate yarmulke? That's a nice idea. That's not so hard. I think it'll be hard more with the undergarments, with clothing for sleeping in. But just gonna throw out a shaila. Is there really a din of having a special coat just for Shabbos? Because after all, a coat at the end of the day is really just to protect ourselves from the weather. Right?
try Midas Chasidus, like you said.
Yes, Hasidus. All right, so we're gonna have to learn about that. Scroll down over here a little bit more. Says over
Nowadays,
here.
you say it's a Midas Chasidus because everybody has at least a couple pairs of shoes. You think you should.
I think nowadays, just because people think that you need Shabbos shoes, and because people happen to have more Shabbos shoes, that doesn't mean that you need to have Shabbos shoes. The halacha is the halacha. Still, me'adin, you don't need Shabbos shoes, and the reason is because it's not begotten. It's not a beged.
Shoes get scuffed up though during the week. You know, you want to.
We're going to learn about polishing them up. There's going to be a mitzvah to polish them. You have to know your shoe. Some shoes need to be polished more than others, and you have to know your shoes.
And you have to know how you walk too, because
you have to know how you walk.
6 days a week you're walking on these shoes, so you kind of wear. Also, the soles get worn, everything gets worn.
Right now, you could go into places where they fix shoes instead of paying more money for a nice Shabbos shoe. They fix the sole $15
for the same price. No, it's more than $50 to resole a shoe. I think.
Depends where you're going and what type of sole. You have to know your sole. Your soul.
More than one.
Know your neshama. Okay, Os Kaf Ches, he says over here that you should have another talis for Shabbos, and then he writes that you should wear your Shabbos clothing until after Havdalah. Hold it. That's the Magen of Ramzak the Caf Hachaim. V'hanocho and she'yishu alav arach or sudas revis. There it is. Correct. You leave your Shabbos clothing on until after Malava Malka. This time of year, that's what separates the men from the boys. When you're ending Shabbos before 6 o'clock, the last thing you want to do right now is eat a dinner at 6 o'clock. You're going to be eating later on, and then you're just going to leave your Shabbos for hours.
No, it's the opposite. Here, and during the summer, you don't want to have you ending Shabbos at 10. You don't want to have to eat after. Now it's fine. You have a nice.
I hear what you're saying, but think about it.
Now it's nice.
You just ended your Suda for Shalosh an hour ago. You had your Shabbos Suda 4 hours ago.
Yeah, So what you're saying is that you should.
But that's the same thing. The Shabbos today, Shabbos day, I guess. But
you have to know yourself.
You have the whole.
You have to know yourself. When do you? Some people it's harder in the summer, in the winter. Either way, this is halacha to keep in mind. Look, it's he says it's nachon. It's correct. You're still yotzei malava malka if you have it in non-Shabbos clothing. You're definitely gonna be yotzei more than the person who just skips it lagamri in the summer, so to say, because Shabbos already ended late and it's inconvenient. So and we learned these halachas malachos. I mentioned. Okay, moving right along. Kaf ches, kaf tes. V'chein sarach sheyizharu b'nei ha'ir hahochim lekfarim shel Oh yeah. We saw this in the Mishnah Berurah. Even if you're alone by yourself, or you're not with anyone who's Jewish, you still should wear Shabbos clothing because that's to do with covered Shabbos, not for covered who people are watching. That's the Chayadim. So says the Caf Hachaim, another practical case. If you're going to more of like an out of town place where people down dress, doesn't matter. You still have to wear Shabbos clothing.
Involved in that situation.
Yeah, you have to dress accordingly. You go to camp in the summer. People are down dress. I'm making up an example. I don't even know. Right.
You go to like Malay Adumim.
Yeah, or it's Israel's. They dress differently, whatever. Doesn't matter. This is what you got to do. You got to wear the Shabbos clothing. Right. So this is the Caf Hachaim. I think everyone enjoyed this, and that's the Caf Hachaim comment. I'm gonna save the changes, and now we're gonna learn the Chut Shanei, Nisa and Karelitz. If we could get through this whole thing in 10 minutes. So let's do the end first. We're gonna go out of order. Okay. Say Haloivish Big Day Shabbos b'Yemoisachol Kegoin LeSimcha Shel Rishus v'Kedoyme. M'may Bazeh is the Inyan Shel Big Day Shabbos. This is the other way. So we saw that you could wear your Shabbos clothing to a Simcha during the week. We saw that in the footnote of the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Berurah, in short.
Yeah.
We saw it in 1 or 2 lines, and it was actually in like a parentheses, like it was in a smaller font, which was very interesting. Over here, he's saying, Chut Shanei saying the other way. He's saying, no, you should not wear your Shabbos clothing to a Simcha. That will decrease the halachic status of your clothing having the status of Big Day Shabbos.
No.
Shabbos clothing.
Now the Chut Shanei was in this Carlos. What did he wear on Shabbos?
I don't know.
A suit or a type of shirt?
Probably something longer. B'nai B'rach.
Yes.
Probably.
And wait, Chazanish? Who? Chazanish?
No, this is Reb Nitzim Karelitz. I think it's his nephew. I want to say the Chazinish's nephew.
I don't know.
I don't know. Shai, I'm sure will add something to the message board in a minute.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's nephew. It's nephew.
His nephew, okay.
Yeah.
We don't need a message. There we go. That's why we need Shai over here. He's that guy. He's that techie guy. Yeah. Yep.
Wait, so what he wore? What you're asking? What he wore on Shabbos?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Techie guy.
All right.
Okay. Okay, your session will end in 10 minutes, right on schedule.
So he's saying if that's anything special. Or no?
Yud Ches, he says, look at the Magen Avram, look at the Ber Hativ and Evina Ezer, Kavod Lechasan Vekala Adif Mekavod Regel. Nafkamina, if you have a Malbush Chodesh to wear to a chuppah, and then a Yontif came before the chuppah, don't wear it on Yontif. Wear it for the chuppah. In other words,
Wow.
better to save your nicest clothing for a chasana rather than for Yontif even.
It's pretty heavy. In Regal's high.
But wait. Keep in mind, this isn't talking about just a regular person who attends a wedding. This is dafka for the chasen and kala.
Oh, Sabbath Chasan Kala.
I think so.
It says covered lichasan.
Maybe it's telling us anyone who gets a bracha too.
Yesh Laden. I don't know. Have to look at Evina Ezer, Siman Samachay. By the way, if you ever wanted to know where the halachas of Sheva brachos are, it's right over here. Evina Ezer, Siman Samachay. Around that area, those types of halachas. Very interesting stuff over there. But anywho. Okay, that was his chomer over there. Now,
Yeah. Seems like
minhag,
the regular minhag is okay.
we're gonna learn about it more. We're not.
Okay.
We're
We're not
only on part 9 today. We're only on part 9. We've got a ways to go. Out of how many parts will probably I say Gematria Chai, 18. It's a nice number. I think we'll get to 18. It's not that 9 more. I don't know, maybe that much. We still have to do. I say 9 more because what do we have left? We have the dare shoes. This will take 1 day, not more than 1 day. These two PDFs. And then we have the Minchas Chayin. That's gonna take a solid day, for sure. So, and then we're gonna have the Piskei Teshuvos. That's gonna take probably 2 days. So that's another 5. And then the Nishma Shabbos with Harfin is probably gonna take at least 3 sessions. I'm gonna try to go through those before instead of just trying to go through 40 pages with everyone. Highlight what I think is kedai to go through halacha l'maisa, and then we need a day for Chazara, day or two, for all the writings and everything. So that's why realistically I say 9 more. Gematria Chai, maybe right around there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Amazing how much is on
Yeah.
one page of Mishnah
Yes,
Berurah when the average person spends, that sits down and learns with someone with a chavrusa. It doesn't take more than 20-25 minutes, half an hour to do this Mishnah Berurah. But when you go through, so then it's a whole cheshbon, so come out with good stuff. Akoponim. Now, Perish, Deloy Tema, Shemiyar Acher. Okay, so now this is talking about that on Shabbos you wear very nice clothing and you have a simcha when Shabbos comes in. Okay, the Mishnah Berurah says you go with them until Motzi Shabbos after Avdallah. Perish, Deloy Tema, Shemiyar Acher, Seitz Shabbos, Mutter Loy Lifshoy says Big Day Shabbos. Don't say that immediately after Shabbos ends. So then it's permissible to remove your Shabbos clothing. Shalovshan that you wore. There's a that's incorrect. Wear your clothing until after Avdallah. If you want to continue to wear your clothing after Avdallah, you could. You're not violating a prohibition by wearing Shabbos clothing during the week, so to say. You could keep them on after Shabbos. Women are commanded in all mitzvahs of Shabbos. Therefore, women need to wear Shabbos clothing when Shabbos begins as well. When they light the ner, they should preferably be dressed with Shabbos clothing before they light the ner. If time's running out, then fine. You wear even weekday clothing on light. Rather than chas v'shalom light when it's a little too late. But lakaba of Sunday Shabbos big day clothing, they should not be wearing weekday clothing. There's a nice footnote over here. Footnote Chav Beis. Start with that one. Vamnam b'moitzi Shabbos. Sarich l'sader shulchano kadil lavos Shabbos. Moitzi Shabbos is something in English called Malav Malka. As we learned already in Simin B'Shulchan Aruch Simin Shin Sif Aleph. Ahaynu lifrois mapa l'shulchan derekovim mishum shatzud esrich liois va'oifin makubad v'hu makav Shabbos malav Shabbos. Fine. Because the Indian hasudishim lava malka val ein sarich livos Shabbos big day Shabbos. Wow. So he's saying a leniency. So this is more of a lenient approach than the Caf Hachaim. So we got a stringency from him. Now we're getting a leniency. Stringency is that the Shabbos clothing you can't wear to Simcha. The leniency is that no, Malava Malka, you do not need to wear Shabbos clothing. That's his leniency. V'adraba, es hamalbushim kuvadim biyoser srichim l'ilbosh bebayis l'kavod Shabbos. The clothing that is more honorable, you need to wear l'kavod Shabbos. V'loy kefi sheba avon oseinu arabim yesh shalomdu mehagoyim sheba bayis tzrichim mehabal l'vosh mokubad v'kiyadu as a hefach tasa Torah ha'kedosha. Not like those people who say, no, it's your house, wear whatever you want, you can do this, you can do... No. Even in your house, we need to wear nice clothing. On Shabbos. That's a nice rip. That's nice. That's totally my style. Yeah. Okay. What is the Geder Bagadim? Let's see if we can do this in a couple minutes. Near it. Shegeder bagadim shesarach shem yuchadim rakl Shabbosim yeshlahim bagadim shadim is kavnit makrim val days darshim kan koshim memuchot shel Shabbos kan memuchot shel shchovat shalem hu makabel Shabbos kagon glima khalifa v'koyv. You have to have nice clothing. V'ni yafa gav the hageder hu malbushim shadim is gavim behem mikol makom dim v'kiblatzov bagadim loinem v'sar chadim l'kovat Shabbos has to do with Shabbos, and therefore even if you're by yourself you have to wear nice clothing. Aval habagadim shein derech chadim shemes kavim siach behem be'ilu ein sarach sheyadafim l'chadim Shabbos. Val ze yafinim mikra kodesh ye ksos nekil l'kavod Shabbos gona begadim smuchim l'gufim b'chin l'chlushim sharchim l'chachim l'kavatzim l'sam tadur and l'kavatzim l'smil l'chabs l'kavod Shabbos. So what he's saying is that clothing that it's not the norm for a person to be honored by them, you don't need special clothing for Shabbos, such as undergarments. So this is another leniency that we have. Undergarments. This is a reason not to. We saw this idea of changing every single last item, but he's saying logically you wouldn't need to. Chulsa. A coat, a jacket that gets dirty all the time. So you wouldn't need special Shabbos one. What he's saying over here, because you don't get honored by that clothing, so to say. Okay? However, amnam begadim shaloi nadu el lahatzel min hakor umina gishamim kigoyin big day chorev Wait, hold on. Okay, so what he's saying, he's going into clothing over here more. Clothing that is only designated to protect you from rain and the cold during the winter, such as a coat, scarf. Since it's not the norm for people to get honored with that type of clothing, and they don't regularly wash them, you don't need special Shabbos ones. Mikol makom. Nevertheless, if there are some people who get honored by such clothing, for example, a sweater, so then you should have a special Shabbos sweater.
So even though there are such things as fancy raincoats and fancy
Yeah.
winter coats, you don't have to.
You have
say-
to know if you get honored by them and whatever, and you have to know the cheshbon. Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Let's see if we could quickly get this last one over here. You running out of time? Okay, talus cotton, small talus. Yesh Leimer, some say that you don't need a special one for Shabbos. Some say that you don't need to launder it for Shabbos, since it's not the norm to put it in the laundry constantly. Obviously, usually hand washed. So therefore, it'll be fine. However, it is a nice idea to have another talus. Pants, so that you probably would need to change. Shoes, he wants to say that's fine. They usually get dirty. You don't need special Shabbos shoes. So therefore, you don't need to change them, he wants to say. However, he says, Kishemetzachsa came right over here. When you're going to polish them, L'kavod Shabbos, you're going to fulfill the mitzvah of honoring Shabbos. And there could be a benefit of special shoes just for Shabbos, he wants to say. Good.
So technically, if you see somebody wearing sneakers on Shabbos, you don't have to be.
Technically, but if they are, they shouldn't be wearing, like red or something. But wear black ones, something that are nicer.
White.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so Mirza Hashem, tomorrow we will continue. Ruchim too. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Okay.
We just made it over there. We were in the last minute.
Okay.